Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2024 Chevy Trax, we're going to be showing you how to install the Blue Ox Patriot supplemental braking system. Before we do that, let's take a minute, we'll check this out and make sure it's what you're looking for. What a supplemental braking system is going to do is apply the brakes in your Trax whenever you hit the brakes in your motorhome. That way you'll come to a stop in a shorter distance. You're not going to have to rely just on the motorhome to do all the braking. So it's a safety thing really, and a legal one, to be honest. Pretty much all the states here now require some sort of supplemental braking system, so you always want to abide by the law, right? And when it comes to portable type braking systems, the Blue Ox Patriot hands down is the one that I always recommend, really for a few different reasons. We've had a ton of luck with them. They've been extremely reliable. They just flat out work, and I think a lot of that has to do with the simplicity behind it. Sometimes more simple is better, right? And I feel like that's the case with this one. The setup time and everything is really straightforward. It's extremely lightweight and really small. So it fits in here nicely, more than enough room. We have a good straight shot at our brake pedal arm and really can't ask for too much more. One of the really convenient things with the Patriot is the fact that it's going to be compatible with all different types of motorhomes. So whether you have a huge motorhome that has air brakes on it, a smaller travel van or something like that that has regular hydraulic brakes, the Blue Ox Patriot is going to work, right? You can hook your car up, flat tow, and have this perform like you'd expect it to. So extremely versatile, and that's going to hold true too regardless of what type a vehicle you got, really. So if you got a hybrid or electric assisted brakes and things like that, the Patriot will work across the board, right? So really nice to see that. And with the Trax, one thing I do want to mention, GM wants you to disconnect the battery whenever you're flat towing these, and so you are going to need a power supply for the Patriot to work, right? Because if your battery's disconnected when you're towing, you can't plug it into your 12-volt outlet that's in the car. It won't have power. And so what we did, we used the Roadmaster 12-volt outlet kit, and that gave us a dedicated power source to plug our connector in there and power everything up. The Patriot is going to come with a monitor that goes on the dash of your motorhome that'll allow you to make some adjustments and kind of keep an eye on things whenever you're flat towing down the road. Here's a better look at the monitor. It's pretty user friendly. There's a little light on it there, makes visibility easier. You can actually apply the brake from in here just on the towed vehicle by hitting the big brake button, and you can use that in the event of a sway situation or something like that. If you're needing to kind of slow the car down a little bit, get it trailing behind the coach again, that's what you would do. And there's just some basic settings and things like that. I won't go through them all and bore you there, but you can make your minor adjustments, one of them being force. With the Trax having electric assisted brakes, you would put it in this mode, H, hybrid mode, and kind of go from there, because it doesn't take a whole lot of force to apply these electric assisted brakes. So that's how it's going to be compatible with the Trax and not have to worry about messing anything up. Like most supplemental braking systems, the Patriot is going to come with what's called a breakaway switch, which is a safety device really. In the event of an unlikely disconnect, this pin would get pulled out of the switch, turning on the braking system, helping to kind of get things back under control. With the Patriot too, it's really convenient if you end up changing your towed vehicle or get another vehicle that you want to flat tow for a couple of different reasons. With the Patriot being so easy to set up, you can kind of bounce it around from car to car if that's what you're wanting to do. And really the only extra thing that you would need to get is what's called the second vehicle kit for the Patriot. And that more or less just consists of another breakaway switch that you could outfit on your second car or your new car and still be able to use your original Patriot for that particular setup. Other than that, at the end of the day, a really nice supplemental braking system. Like I said, it's one of my favorites when it comes to portable systems. So it'll be a great choice for those of you that are kind of looking to grow into flat towing meaning you might start with this car, might start pulling another car, get a new one, get a new coach. You know, this is going to work in just about any situation, so you can hold on to it and reuse it. Or if you just don't flat tail that often, or you don't want a permanent type system, right, that you have to mount up physical components and run wires and things like that. Because this is a really simple installation, you know, it's pretty much one wire, your breakaway switch, mount that up at the front, run your wire into here, set a couple things up with the system, and you're good to go. So just about anyone should be able to do this. If this is something you don't want to mess with, you're having all your other parts, you know, set up at the same time, you can't always use our dealer locator network, and that can help you find a shop in your neighborhood that can do this for you. But if you're going to give it a go, hang around, we'll go ahead and get started on it now. To begin our installation, the first thing that we're going to do is set up our breakaway switch. So this end here, this is eventually going to run into the vehicle. The other end you want to take and drop from the engine compartment down to the front, where we're going to have the breakaway mounted up. And if you're doing other wiring that goes to the same area, makes sense to run that at the same time. That's what this is, our tow bar diode wiring. And we have the fascia off, it's easier to route. You know, if you're doing your base plate, you might as well do this stuff next. But with that said, we have it routed over here, and it's just all loose right now. I give myself plenty of length to work with, and that's because the connector and bracket and everything that our breakaway switch is going to mount to is actually connected to the fascia. So having this wiring in place and ready, we'll get the fascia back on and be able to go from there. I was able to get our fascia and everything on. You can kind of see what I was talking about with how our wiring bracket and everything is situated. But I was able to mount up our breakaway switch to our wiring bracket. Most of the base plates are going to have something like that. If not, you just need to make sure to mount the switch up to something solid. So really nothing to it at all. And here is the connector that we dropped down here and routed over. And on the other end of the breakaway switch, you'll have some wiring coming out that'll match up. And all you'll do is just simply plug those two ends together. I did use a little bit of electrical tape around the connection there just to help keep it sealed up and everything. And now I'll just tuck this back in with the rest of our wiring. Back in the engine compartment now, our wire runs up, and this is going to have to get ran to the inside of the vehicle. And so it's kind of a little tricky to see from out here, but there actually is a factory grommet on the firewall. If you poke a hole through that, you're able to feed the wire through to the inside. Here on the driver's side, floorboard under the dash, here's a better look at that grommet that we utilize to push that wire through. As far as setting up the actual unit, it's pretty straightforward. What you can do is lower your seat all the way down as far as it'll go. I remove the floor mat or any floor coverings just so it don't get hung up or anything. And in our case, what looks to be probably the best setup, this little backer here, you can adjust it up or down. I got it up pretty much all the way. And the adjustable feet, I got up about halfway. It seems to give a good straight shot at our brake pedal, which the clamp just goes around that brake pedal there, nothing really to it. You can then plug in the breakaway switch to the unit, and we need to plug in our power source. So we're using in this case, it's a Roadmaster 12-volt outlet kit that'll supply us with the power that this needs. So we got power there, and then you want to take your seat and push it up pretty much all the way, just to where it's, not barely touching the actual unit. We'll power this up and hit setup. Make sure it's doing its thing. Everything looked good there. And if the unit sees any issues, it'll let you know that. whenever it's ready to go and everything's good, you'll just have that solid green power light, and you know that when you hook up, the braking system will do its job. And with all this done now, that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Blue Ox Patriot supplemental braking system on our 2024 Chevrolet Trax.